Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. We've got the Rocky Cam in action today. Well, the camera's in action. The Rocky and the Jack isn't. But yeah, I hope y'all are having a good Monday. I've got my good hot coffee here, ready for another enjoyable coffee session. So let's see who we got in the house here. Mr. Hitch Hamilton, how you doing this morning, buddy? Good to see you. Mark Lindsay's awake already this morning. How you doing, Mark? Hope you're feeling better. I missed your video yesterday. Kevin L's in the house. How you doing, Kevin? Good to see you. Yeah, we've got I got some stuff I was going to talk about Friday, and just kind of ran out of time, so I'll share that with y'all this morning here in a little bit. Until then, has anybody got anything on their mind? What's going on with y'all this Monday morning? It's kind of a gloomy day today. I think we're going to get some more rain. Rain all day Saturday. I mean, all day. How you doing, Matt? Good to see you on here. Matt just did a cool video on his Awesome Wood Things channel yesterday, I think it was, doing his Flying Monkeys scroll saw wall art project. That was pretty cool. Mark says, much better. I'm about 95%. Well, that's good. That's good. Glad to hear you're feeling better. Barry Curtis in the house. How you doing this morning, Barry? It says he's looking for some cool weather. Yep. It's about, let's see, I think it was 59 when I first got up and turned on the news. So, but it's looking pretty gloomy out there, but that's okay. I got a lot of work to do inside again. So why not CNC? Hey, good morning from Kansas. Glad Mark is feeling better. Bad tornado in Dallas last night. Yeah, I saw Juan posted a picture of the sky, and it looked pretty scary. Troy Pritchard is joining us this morning. How you doing, Troy? Good to see you. Eric Smith, good morning to you. Matthew Haas says, Flying Monkey Baby. They're super cool. Yeah. Mark says, typical Oregon weather, cool and rainy. Yeah, it looks like we're having some Oregon weather here today. 6 inches of rain this weekend, and we needed all of it. Yeah. I can't remember where you're at, Barry, but yeah, we needed every bit we got. That's why I didn't complain. I had lots to do inside anyway. So, good morning. I'll have a few minutes before the PT session. Oh, I'm glad you're joining us, Steve. Harry, I believe, let's see, Harry Tasker, I think is who that is. Good morning to you, Harry. 79 degrees and fog. Yeah. Okay, middle Georgia. Yeah, I was thinking you were here in Georgia. Doc Whitaker says we got rain in Indy. Okay. I don't know if that has anything to do with that. I can't even remember the name of that last little tropical storm that come through. Hitch, you might remember. Started with an N, I think. Anyway, yeah, we got, I don't know what that, I guess that was part of what that rain we got Saturday. And like I said, it rained all day long. Nice, steady, drizzly type rain. Yeah, Nestor. I don't know where they came up with that name, but yeah, Nestor was the name. Tropical Storm Nestor. Jim Senecola in the house. How you doing, Jim? Thank you. The website still got a lot of work. Needs a lot of work. I'm slowly learning that new stuff, but I've had so many people bugging me saying, when's it going to be ready? When's it going to be ready? I tried to work on it yesterday and then threw it up there, and there was still a few errors in it. But as people pointed those out to me, I got them fixed. The only thing other than dress it up a little nicer, one of the things I have to do is, I guess they're still having trouble seeing the navigation links at the top when they're on their phone or an iPad. But I saw your email this morning, and I've been doing the same thing. When I look at it on my phone, I just hit the little button and put it in desktop mode, and then you can navigate and get to everything. So, yeah, you added the form for the Gatton ears. Yeah, I've got a bunch of folks that have been sending me that. Of course, right now it's kind of an empty page with no Gatton ears listed, but I'm going to be putting those on, and hopefully that'll help some people that want to come visit somebody that's got one built and ask questions and stuff like that. So I know that I get that all the time. People will email me and say, hey, I live in such and such. Is there anybody that has one near me? And all that. And it's always kind of a pain because I have to go back and just kind of do a search because there's way too many folks out there now for me to remember them all. Ian Foote in the house. Good morning, Ian. Mr. Ballard, how you doing this morning? Hope you're having a good breakfast this morning. Troy Pritchard, the thumbs up. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I had something kind of, I thought it was interesting, and I want to share it with y'all today. But, well, first, let me say something else that kind of led to me stumbling across this is the other day in one of our coffee sessions, and I haven't seen him out there in a couple of days, so he must be busy working in his shop. But Frankie CNC and Woodworking, we were having a discussion that morning about Alexas and Siris and Google Homes and all that. Oh crap! I can't even say that name even as low as I try to say it. She hears me and starts saying something in there. Anyway, artificial intelligence stuff. And Frankie posted a thing, and he said, "Yeah, you need to check out the interview with Elon Musk." And he wasn't specific, so I was sitting around the other day and I Googled, or I did a search on YouTube for Elon Musk interview, and of course, there's a gazillion of them on there. But I think the one he might have been talking about was the one with Joe Rogan. And that's a good, I probably should have got that YouTube link, but you should go watch it. It's long. It's like about an hour and a half or so long, I think, but really good interview. And he had some interesting, Elon did interesting thoughts on the artificial intelligence and stuff. So that was a good interview. So you might want to check that out if you're interested in that kind of thing. But that kind of led me to another, because I watched that interview, and then, YouTube is right after that, it pops up and it says, well, if you watch this, you might enjoy this. So, and it was an interview again with Joe Rogan, but he was interviewing Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they were talking space stuff, and science stuff, and because that's that's kind of what Neil does. Good afternoon to you, Ian. It must be afternoon where you're at, I guess. Let's see. Earl Walker, good morning. Dave Clemens in the house, good morning. Rogan's interviews are the best. Yeah, they're really good. I'm going to start going back and watching. And the only thing is, they're hour and a half or so. So, you got to have a lot of free time to watch them. But anyhow, I've got something here. And since there's not a lot of action on the Rocky Cam just yet, I'm going to, let me get it set up here. I just clicked on the wrong thing. I hate when I do that. There we go. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Yeah, here it is. So bear with me just a second, folks. I'm going to get this set up for you. All righty. Let's see. Yeah, this is let me stop it here. But Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, probably not. But they were talking about space junk. In other words, space debris. And, you probably haven't really thought about it, but all these times when we send something up into space, or the Russians do, or whoever sends stuff up in space, they always have the booster rocket or whatever, and it'll disengage when it's done. And sometimes they'll come back and land in the ocean. And other times there's stuff that just, it's already out past the atmosphere. So it's just floating around as space junk. And so they got to talking about how much there was. And Neil was telling Joe, he says, he's telling his producer, he said, yeah, pull up the thing. There's a NASA thing or something. But anyway, I want to share this with you. This is like this is on YouTube, but it's a thing that I guess NASA put out, and it's showing the amount of space junk. Now, the little dot there in the center, that's Earth. And as I set this into motion here, this is all of the space junk that is floating around. And it's just amazing. And, when Neil was talking with Joe, and he said, it's getting to the point where it's getting harder and harder for them to set their liftoff times when they want to do a mission, because they not only have to have everything else right, but they also have to be tracking this stuff and make sure they can get through it. Yeah, Frankie, I was just talking about you a minute ago. But yeah, this is crazy. That's a lot of junk floating around. But I had no idea, when Neil's told Joe's producer, said, yeah, bring up that video, and you can see it. And I had no idea it was going to be this crazy. That's just a lot of junk. That's all I can say. That is a lot of stuff floating around. Of course, this is probably sped up a little bit here too, but crazy looking stuff. Yeah, Mark says first satellites. Yeah, it's all up there. I mean, there's nothing for it to do but sit there and revolve around, and I guess there has been a few cases where, fortunately not for us, but for other countries that have tried to send stuff up there, and they've had stuff damaged, hitting space debris. So let's see. Matthew Haas says I'm saying his name correctly. Well, I just call him Neil. I knew I'd get that part right. Let's see. Jim Sanicola says going to need a space tank to get to the moon. Yeah, like an armored tank to get through all the junk. Let's see. We got Joey Spain Howard in the house. Good morning. Knocked out 11 fire pits this weekend. Awesome. That is awesome. Are you doing any YouTube videos with that, or just busy making the stuff? Let's see if I can get this turned back off. It seemed like I had something else I was going to show you too. Let's see if I can remember what it was. Oh yeah, I've got another picture of something else over there. I'm going to show you here in a little bit. Yeah, you can see it was a pretty rough weekend for the Rockster and Jack. He's already, what is it, like 9:16? He's already wore out. Hadn't done much of nothing. Mark says it would be cool to go up and retrieve some of the oldest to study what has happened over the years out there. Yeah. I would guess being out there in space floating around that if you were to go get it, it would be exactly like it was in 1950s when it was sent up. That would be my guess. Because, it's not like it's going to weather, like something down here. So Ernest says, good morning all. How are you, Ernest? See what effects of 60 years of space travel. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that there would be any noticeable difference other than batteries go dead and stuff like that. Joey says, no videos yet, waiting to finish the new shop. Gotcha. Yeah. Man, I was just so amazed at all that junk. And Frankie, since you're in here now, the other day you were in here and we were talking about Alexis and artificial. I have to whisper because she keeps hearing me in there. Series and artificial intelligence stuff. And you mentioned watch the interview of Elon Musk, and I was telling the folks, because I don't think you were here, I don't think you heard me say it, but I watched the interview with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, and I don't know if that's the one you were talking about or not, but yeah. Constant radiation exposure from the sun. Yeah. A lot of radiation. Yeah. Just unreal the amount of junk. You notice when I whispered, oh, the Rocky cam's not functioning. There we go. Now it's back live. Because I was just looking, I'm like, Jack's not laying there anymore. He moved when I whispered. And there's, of course, there's the rock. He warned them, they didn't listen. Yeah. Anybody that should go watch that, I recommend going to check that out. Joe Rogan interviews Elon Musk, and it was from just a few months ago, I think, or maybe late 2018, I think, when he did it. But it's really, really good. You might want to check that out. George Rothfuss in the house. Good morning to you, George. I did learn something. Do you guys learn stuff? I know we're old, or I'm old, but do y'all learn anything new? I learn something new every day, pretty much. But I learned something new the other day, and I think Jim Senicola is the one that made me think of it. I had never thought of it before. We were talking about how when you use, and again, I'll whisper it, Alexa, when you use her to set an alarm, you always have that annoying tone that they use for an alarm. And I think it was Jim Senicola said, well, tell her to play a song. And so I thought, man, that's a great idea. I never thought of that before, because I know you can set your old alarm clock to come up with music. Well, what I learned new the other day when I did that is I learned what happens when you tell Alexa to set an alarm and wake you up to a song that's longer than 9 minutes, which is the snooze length that we talked about the other day. Well, do you know what happens when you do that? Yeah, he says Elon pretends to smoke pot during that interview. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Yeah. That's toward the end of the thing. And they were drinking some kind of, what was it? Some kind of whiskey or something throughout the show too, I think. Yeah. You won't see that on the coffee sessions, though. Only coffee. Or at least that's what you think I have in this cup. All right. Well, I don't see anybody guessing. Great. Let's see. It says my Alexa's blinking when you say her name. Yeah, I have to try to say it real quiet because I didn't think she could hear it from the bedroom in there, but she can hear it. And a while ago when I said it, I don't know what she said, but probably waiting for me to say something else. But anyway, I found out, nobody's guessing on it, but I found out that if I actually told her to set the alarm and to play Mountain Time by Joe Bonamassa. And I have it in a playlist, and it's one of the live versions he did from New York or something. It's really good. But that song, when he plays it, it's about 12 minutes long because, it's Joe Bonamassa. He's got to have guitar solos and stuff in there. So anyway, so what happens is when you tell Alexa, and probably the same thing with those other ones, to play a song that's longer than that 9-minute snooze time, when it finishes the song at 12 minutes, it says, my Alexa is listening to Dave. Alexa, play Mountain Time by Joe Bonamassa. Let's see if... Alexa, stop. I said it too loud. See, mine started to do it. Yeah, so anyway, so what happens is when it stops at 12 minutes, when the song finally ends, it, of course, immediately starts again because you've already used up the 9 minutes on the snooze. It said it did it. You're welcome. Enjoy your Joe Bonamassa. There you go. Yeah, so it's a lot nicer to get woken up by that because it doesn't start out real crazy either if you listen to it. Jim says his just started playing. Yeah, you can't even mention the A word without those things going off. And like I said, it's in the other bedroom, down the hall in the other bedroom. I don't know how she hears me so well. Crazy. But yeah, go check out the Joe Rogan, Elon Musk interview about artificial intelligence. It's very interesting, very interesting. And you can check out the one with Neil deGrasse Tyson and hear him talk about, because they talk about a lot of other things besides just the space debris, and a lot of it just kind of went, right over me. So YouTube, guess the bots had to cut Dave off the air. Yeah, maybe so. I think Alexa terminated the live stream. Yeah. Well, it looks like it's still going over there on YouTube, and it may come back on. Hadn't yet, so I don't know if it will come back or not. But that's out of my hands. Yeah, but still rolling over there on the tubes. That's why I think most people, let's see, according to this thing, well, there's not very many of y'all out there this morning anyway, but the majority is over there on YouTube anyway. And it looks like, yeah, there's a few folks over there on Facebook. Of course, they might not be now if it stopped, but stopped at the same spot, Mark says. Okay, I'm back now. YouTube is out. Am I back? Okay, says he's on Facebook and says I'm back, so I guess it's back rolling. I don't know. Said it died for about a minute. Okay, we didn't miss anything. I got it back on cellular link. Had a pause, but came back just now. Seems spotty since. Yeah, I don't know why. Migrated from YouTube to Facebook. Yeah, I don't know what I didn't, but I didn't have YouTube open. I had Facebook left open. Um, so if it went out on YouTube, I didn't see it because by the time I opened YouTube back up, it was apparently back rolling. So anyhow, let's see what else are we going to talk about this morning. Let's see. He says his YouTube is out loud and clear on Facebook. Okay, yeah, it's just it's that yeah. The internet god's having a hairy knicker fit again. Yeah, it is what it is. Can't worry about it. Larry says both are working. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Normally they go off without a hitch, but sometimes there's problems. But I don't know why it would have done that on both of them. But anyway, for those of you, I think there's some folks out there in the chat that are from Georgia. I know Barry said he was in Middle Georgia. I'm wondering if anybody has been to visit or even heard of the Georgia Stones. Has anybody ever heard of the Georgia Stones? Do you know what I'm talking about? Ryan says it was because I mentioned that Elon smoked pot. Yeah. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I'll fill you in on the Georgia Stones. There's a really good documentary about the Georgia Stones, and it's on well, let's see. I'm trying to think. It might have been on Amazon Video, but I think there's one on. YouTube as well. But anyway, I've got a picture here. I'll share it with you just so you can see what I'm talking about. But there's a really cool story behind this. It's kind of like Georgia's own little Stonehenge kind of thing. There's inscriptions on all these stones. There's 4 of these big vertical stones, and then you got this one in the middle, and then you got a stone on top that ties them all together. But there's like instructions for life written on these stones, or inscribed on these stones, and it's all in different languages. I can't remember. Obviously, one of them's English. I think another one is Hebrew, and another one is Arabic, and I don't know. But they picked whatever the top 8 languages, or what they thought the top languages are, and they inscribed these things on these stones. But it's really cool, and this is up in Elberton, Georgia. If anybody wants to look it up and go see, yeah, it says like Stonehenge. Yeah, they call it Georgia's little Stonehenge, but it's and these things. I wish there was a person standing here so you can see how tall these things are, because I think right where I'm showing the cursor, right where that hole is, you notice there's a small round hole, and it's all set up for that solstice thing where the sun shines through there and lines up on just a certain date, kind of like some of these other crazy things like the pyramids and all that. How you always wonder how they figured out how to do that. But anyway, this was all man-made, but there's a big story about who paid for all this and who put it on there and why. because the guy that, excuse me, the guy that did it wanted to stay anonymous. So the documentary is about um, why he did that, and what it's supposed to mean, and why he wants to stay anonymous, and they're trying to find out who he is. So you never really know. They have some pretty good ideas, but it's very interesting documentary, and it's kind of cool. I have not been there, but that's one thing I plan to do because it's not very far from here. Um, but I was just wondering if anybody else had ever heard of that. Because when I first heard of it, it's been there quite some time. I should have looked up the dates of when it was built, but it's been there quite a while, and I hadn't heard about it until, I don't know, a few years ago, I guess. But anyway, all right, looks like we're still kicking over there on the YouTubes. Yeah, so George, I guess maybe you hadn't heard of it, probably not. Same here. That's cool, very interesting. Yeah. Okay, Mark. I'm waiting for it to pop up over here. Mark Lindsay's Johnny on the Spot with Google. Says they were built in 1980. Yeah, they've been there pretty good one. See, actually, that was before I even moved to Georgia. I moved to Georgia in 81. So they were already here. But there was, many years went by before I realized, before I ever even heard of them. And a lot of people, how many of y'all in the chat right now had heard of them before? Probably the majority of you hadn't even heard of them. But it's a pretty cool thing. I'd like to go there someday. Take the camera and shoot a little video and stuff. And it's the guy who it said he had heard of him. The guy that had him built, they picked, just bought a spot in some guy's thing. Because when you show, you didn't see him in that picture, but when you show, sometimes there's aerial shots where people take their drones out there and, take photos from above. You can just see where it's just like a corner of a field where they fenced it off and said, okay, we're going to let you have this spot to build this. And then a lot of times up next to the fence, you'll see cows, so it's just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And, not a super big tourist attraction, I guess. I think it was when it was first built because it was in the news, but now I think you could probably go up there and, you might be the only one up there. So it says, have to go see the Ark up in Kentucky. Yeah, that's another thing I'd like to see. Mark says, I think I had heard of him. Not sure. Sounds familiar. Yeah, I mean, you may have, but it's one of Georgia's well-kept secrets, I guess. But it's kind of interesting. But check out that documentary. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there's one on Amazon Prime Video if you're that, and if not, there's several documentaries on YouTube about the Georgia Stones, so you can check those out as well. So I was just curious to see if anybody had heard of them. I think they're kind of neat looking, like our own little Stonehenge. But what's really cool is if you'll Google it and get close-up pictures where you can actually read what's inscribed on them. It's very controversial because they one of the things was that, like I said, it's somebody giving instructions for life, kind of. And one of the things is, it's almost like they're talking about population control, because they said it shouldn't be more than this many people. I can't remember the number, but it's, pretty interesting. I thought so anyway. Greg says Stone Mountain. Yeah, I've been on that big rock a few times, more than more than I care to. I've actually walked from they have a trail that goes up it, and back when we first started coming down to Georgia, it's like, oh, let's do the touristy thing and walk up there. Barbara Damon in the house. How are you, Barbara? Everybody say good morning to Barbara. Glad you got a peek on here and see. Yeah, I've been to Stone Mountain lots of times. There's a lot going on there, but I stay away from that kind of stuff now. I'm just not into that. But they have, in fact, I think they're getting ready to start it soon because now that the weather's changing, they have a thing where they have a snow machine, one of them artificial snow machines, and they put snow out there or fake snow, and you can go up there and ski and sled and all kinds of stuff. I forget what they call it, Winter Mountain or something like that, but it's not the real deal. I can remember, this gave me a flashback here. I can remember as a kid where I grew up in Indiana, our house was surrounded by farms. There was a big field, corn one year, soybeans the next, and behind us. But then there was woods that old Andy Durbin owned, and we would go back there. And I can remember doing this when I was real little. Must have been right after we moved there and just got to know the neighbors and stuff. But they invited us back to the woods to go playing in the snow down this big old hill that was back there in the woods. And they had a horse back there. And instead of using sleds, they had, the real old timey car hoods that, if you turned them upside down, they come, and then they have that, big rounded thing on the front where when you're closing the hood on the car, it's part of the grill and stuff. I don't know what kind of cars it was, probably 40s or 50s. But they'd use that horse to pull the hood up to the top of that hill. And then there'd be like 6 or 8 of us on that big old car hood and go flying down that hill. Car hoods make excellent sleds. So yeah, that was something. I remember that more. And then they have to take the horse back down there to pick the sled. It wasn't that super heavy, but it was a lot heavier than a regular sled. So Ryan says, morning, Barbara. Tallulah Falls. Yeah, that's another cool spot. There's another thing that's on my list of things to do that's right here in Georgia that I've never been to, and I'm trying to think what they call it. Now, I should have thought of it earlier, but they call it the Little Grand Canyon. Let's see if I can. I'll see if I can Google it right quick to get the name of it. Little Grand Canyon. Providence Canyon State Park in Georgia, but it's obviously on a much smaller scale than the real Grand Canyon in Arizona, but they call it Georgia's Little Grand Canyon. But when you look at pictures of it, it looks very similar. It's just not near as big. So. Let's see. Frankie says, getting some bills paid, then building a Gatton just large enough for rotary axis. And use it only for turning table legs. Yeah, you make quite a few tables, I think. Alex Kriples, good morning to you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Punt. Oh, he mean put put many a mile on the hood of a 62 Chevy pickup we used as a snow sled. Heavy to drag uphill, but it flew back down. Yeah, those things are awesome. And I'm talking ones that are, like 40s and 50s cars that had that big, of course, I'm doing it upside down. The way the hood come down and it went down like this, well, you flip it over to sit on it. Man, they made the perfect. And they were huge. You know how cars were back then. They were huge. You get 6 or 8 people on that thing. And the more weight you get on it, the faster it goes, man. It was like Clark Griswold and the food additive or whatever it was he sprayed on that thing. Crazy. All right, let's see. I'm going to do a quick check. It looks like, is it stopped over there on Facebook again? It looks like it has. I don't know. Maybe I just got too much stuff open for my thing to work here. But I hope we're still live somewhere. Otherwise, I look pretty silly sitting here talking to myself. Yeah, it looks like the tubes is still doing it over there. All right, we got just a few more minutes before I get out of here. Anybody got anything they want to talk about on this Monday morning? No politics, nothing like that. But that's why I quit watching TV, because of all that stuff. All right, it says all is good on Facebook in the tubes. All right, good. Look up Designs by Phil on the tubes. He recently built a dedicated. Oh, he must be talking to Frankie. Still getting the feed in Michigan. Had my first trial run on CNC. Tried to draw a sign. Epic fail. Well, if you didn't make video of it, it never happened. That's kind of what the internet rule is. Video or it didn't happen. Texas has a little Grand Canyon too. Yeah, and I'd be willing to bet Texas is probably bigger than what Georgia has, just because everything's pretty big out there in Texas. All righty, well, I guess if nobody's got any exciting topics they want to cover, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up here. I don't necessarily have to wait for that buzzer to go off, or the tone, or whatever it is. But anywho, let's see. Frankie says, been selling 2 dining table sets a week, so having different style legs to offer would be nice. Yeah. And once you get them programmed, then you just knock them out pretty quick there. Alan Kreifel says, it's simply amazing how big this group has grown in the last 3 years. I would definitely have to agree with that statement. It's, I have to pinch myself sometimes and think that it's even grown like this. I knew it would be popular, and when I first released it, a lot of people, went crazy and got it and sold a ton of them. But it's like I have to, kind of contribute the community for the success of that, because they build them and they post stuff and spread the word, and that's how you look around. I don't really do any advertising. It's all pretty much word of mouth, and other than having the Facebook group and stuff. George Ralphus, can't wait for my package. Okay, yeah, we'll get it out there as quick as we can, George. Troy, thumbs up. Mark says, and a fine bunch of folks they are. Yeah, there's just, I'm not bragging when I say this. I have the best technical support team there is, and it's basically just folks that have have these things and they're on the Facebook group, and somebody, a newbie or something, will ask a question, and usually before I even see it and answer, half a dozen other folks have already replied to it. So it's great bunch of folks, great bunch of folks. And I owe y'all a lot because, like I said, if it wasn't for you guys spreading the word and showing your machines either in videos or having people come by to look at them and stuff like that, it's it wouldn't be anything. Larry says, "How many kits have you made?" All of them is always my stock answer. Dave has a dedicated fan base. Yeah, I do have a good bunch of folks that follow me for whatever reason. I don't know, but the CNC community is just the best. I'll say we have the best Facebook group on Facebook. Period. And I know I'm biased, but I've heard other people say the same thing too. We don't have all the drama and stuff like a lot of those other ones do, because for one, I won't put up with it. And we get all. I try to keep all the shysters out of there too. If they join the group and all they're joining for is to sell their stuff, they're gone. You got to part of the thing when they ask to join the group, it says you got to give more than you take. So if you're not going to help contribute and answer questions and stuff like that, and you ask to join the group, and then the very first post you make is come check out my stuff and come, you won't last. Looking for a tutorial on how to start a project from start to finish, and recommendations would be appreciated. Mark Lindsay. It's a good product. It'll advertise itself. I still think the Gatton CNC is the best bang for it. But yeah, I do too. All right, we're turning this into a CNC show here, and we need. He said, I need to talk about you building that pie setup. Well, I've got something in mind, Ryan. I just haven't had time to get to it yet, but I got something in the works for that. So I'll be getting in touch with you. All right, I've done rattled on another 5 minutes or so. I guess we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you all so much for spending a part of your morning with me. I know every one of you's probably got something better to do than this. But I always appreciate y'all sharing your morning with me, drinking the coffee or whatever it is y'all drink, Mountain Dews or whatever it might be. But anyway, I'm going to put a wrap on this one, and we will see you all at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Bring your coffee and bring whatever you want to talk about. We'll have a good discussion. All right, that's it. See y'all tomorrow morning, guys. Have a good one.